Well, hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to OLC TV for some more A World Betrayed DLC 4 Total War 3 Kingdoms Perfect Start series, this time as Cao Cao. So, I'm obviously doing a Cao Cao Let's Play right now. I made this Perfect Start after the Cao Cao Let's Play, so please don't take my initial moves in the Let's Play as the Perfect Start. They are not. I made a couple of mistakes, though I think I did pretty well actually, but I did make a couple of mistakes. Anyway, Cao Cao starts off with a chunk of land, but he is under attack by Lu Bu, who has led some of Cao Cao's own generals in rebellion. So what has happened to Cao Cao to get him to this point? Well, as we know from the 182 Mandate of Heaven start date, Cao Cao had his father Cao Cong. Cao Cong was a son of foster son of the eunuch Cao Tong. Some sources suggest that the Caos originally started off as Xiaohous, so that makes him related to Xiahou Dun, and who's over here, and Xiahou Yuan. But sources don't agree, so may or may not be true. Whatever happens, they were close anyway. But he was supposed to be quite a wild child in many ways, with Yuan Shao getting drunk and generally cavorting around the imperial capital in his youth, but he was still brilliant, and aged 20 he was appointed the district captain of Luoyang, the capital city, where he was responsible for enforcing the law, and he enforced the law no matter who was breaking the law. So when an uncle of a very important eunuch was out after curfew and Cao Cao beat him, the people in charge decided it would be best for someone with Cao Cao's talents to be promoted outside of this capital city. So he was promoted outside of the capital city, and wasn't recalled to the capital city until 184, when he was promoted to be captain of cavalry to fight the Yellow Turbans. Now, he was an extremely successful cavalry commander against the Yellow Turbans, and this led to him being appointed as Chancellor of Jinan. But as Chancellor of Jinan, in crushing any sort of anti-state movements in the area, he really upset the local families and sort of retired on medical grounds in 187 after only a couple of years. But again, he was brought back to the capital, because you can't keep a man of talent down, in about 18 months as the colonel who arranges the army for the Army of the Western Garden, which was a brand new army that also included people like Yuan Shao and Yuan Shu in it. But that was disbanded within a year, so it didn't really matter. But he hung around the capital until the emperor died. And then there was all the chaos with He Jin being killed by the eunuchs, and then Yuan Shao and people leading the attack against the eunuchs, and Dong Zhuo arriving. And throughout all of this, at the end, he was offered a position in Dong Zhuo's government, but he turned it down and went back to his hometown, where he raised an army. He sold off all of his family's lands and goods and all the rest, and raised an army. And recruited some important people who were actually in his faction at this time. One of them is Yue Jin, who's one of his special characters there. And then he joined the coalition against Dong Zhuo, fought in that coalition. He's one of the few people who actually fought in that coalition. And when the coalition fell apart in 191, he was fighting rebels and bandits and Yellow Turbans again. And Yuan Shao, who was his close ally at that time, appointed him administrator of Dong after beating the bandits, and they basically removed the existing governor, so Cao Cao took over Dong. Then when Liu Dai, who was one of his friends, died defending against some Yellow Turbans after not following his advice, Cao Cao took over Liu Dai's land, and the Yellow Turbans who had been involved in that army actually ended up diplomatically joining Cao Cao and becoming his army. He was generally growing his lands quite well through a mix of diplomacy and through sheer violence. But in 193, when he was fighting Yuan Shu, who was getting a bit big for his boots, as Yuan Shu does, his father was killed by Tao Chen. Now, in the Romance of Three Kingdoms and everything else, it says that Tao Chen was an utterly innocent party. It was just one of his generals was doing this. But actually, Tao Chen and Cao Cao they had been fighting previously. They did not have a very good relationship at all. And Tao Chen had supported another usurper to the throne. And at this stage, Cao Cao was very much a loyalist to the emperor. So it probably wasn't all that innocent on Tao Chen's part. So he turned his armies around from Yuan Shu, marched into Shu province, which is where Tao Chen's lands were, and just started laying waste to the place, killing anything that moved. And he was only stopped because some of his generals rebelled and joined Lu Bu. And then he had to swing around and come back. And that is where it starts off for him. So he was in the midst of killing off Tao Qian. Tao Qian dies of old age and is taken over by Liu Bei, who was his protege. But Cao Cao has to sort of get a peace with Liu Bei and Tao Qian and rush back to deal with Lu Bu. That's where we are. He has some interesting characters. He finally has some of the characters he really should have in the 190 start date. Because he starts off with 190, he recruits a ton of characters. So he's got some of them here. First and foremost is Xun Yu. Now Xun Yu is a little bit less famous, I think, than Guojia to most people, but Xun Yu was probably the most important advisor to Cao Cao. He was brilliant. He was absolutely brilliant. He was renowned for being tall and handsome. And he was just beginning his career as a civil servant in the capital when Dong Zhuo took over. He fled for his life and joined Yuan Shao, because Yuan Shao was the big dog at the time. But it wasn't very long until he realized that Yuan Shao was all noise and no intelligence, and left to join Cao Cao in 191, where he started to recommend a selection of famous names who ended up working for Cao Cao, including, but not limited to, Xun You, his cousin, who for some reason is a commander rather than a strategist in this game, but there we go. Chen, Zhong Yao, Guo Jia, who was actually his aide, and Sima Yi. So, 3 massively important names in that group there who ended up with Cao Cao. He was one of Cao Cao's battlefield advisors, and then he was trusted so much by Cao Cao that he was actually left in charge of home provinces and cities, whilst Cao Cao was away on campaign, was always writing letters of advice to Cao Cao, which Cao Cao took very seriously. And he was left in charge of a city called Juancheng when Lu Bu attacked, because Cao Cao was way over here fighting. Now, his actions, Xun Yu's actions in defending Juancheng, is what bought time for Cao Cao to return to beat up Lu Bu. And so again, this is where it stands. He has fought an action against Lu Bu, which has led to Cao Cao being able to come back. And you actually see Xun Yu and Cao Cao have an army each at the start of this game, which is great. He also has Dian Wei, the brute of unmatched power. Now, Dian Wei, at this time, I should state, is actually a subordinate under Xiahou Dun. Okay? The game can't really do that, it's just an officer. But he's actually an officer under Xiahou Dun at this stage. He later becomes Cao Cao's famous bodyguard. As a youth, Dian Wei became quite famous in his own right, after helping a certain Liu family get revenge on a former county chief by disguising himself as a marquis, walking straight into the man's house, stabbing him to death, and walking out, picking up his weapons from his cart on the way and just walking off. Hundreds of people tried to chase him down, but none dared go near him. He was just exuded so much confidence. He got away. He joined Zhang Miao's forces as part of the coalition against Dong Zhuo. Zhang Miao is one of the generals that rebelled against Cao Cao and is with Lu Bu at this stage. But during that time in the coalition, and why he wasn't part of Zhang Miao's rebellion, is he ended up actually serving under Xiahou Dun's forces as Xiahou Dun became more prominent in that group of generals that were there where Cao Cao was generally. He ended up working for Xiahou Dun, where he was promoted to a major for his valor. He's an extremely important character in Cao Cao's history. He died to save Cao Cao. So, he's an extremely important character. Now we come to Yue Jin. Now, Yue Jin is the first of Cao Cao's 5 elite generals that you see as one of his starting characters. Yue Jin he was renowned for being very short, very angry, ferocious, brave, fearless. And he was one of Cao Cao's earliest officers to join him. He started off as a clerk, I think, for Cao Cao in 190, but was tasked with going to recruit troops. So he went back to his hometown, recruited over 1,000 troops to join him. This got him a promotion to be acting major and formation breaking commandant. Formation breaking commandant, for those of you who don't know, that is the same as the sort of position that Gao Shun has in Lu Bu's army. This basically means vanguard, and they have helpfully dealt with this by making him sentinel. His history is very much he's a vanguard, but they've made him a sentinel. But he is one of Cao Cao's 5 elite generals, of which there's Yue Jin, Zhang He, who's with Yuan Shao right now, Xu Huang, who's with Yang Feng, and Zhang Liao, who's the greatest of them, who's with Lu Bu. Okay, so he's an extremely important character. And then, of course, we have Xiao Dun, who, as I said, may or may not have been his cousin. He was also notoriously fiery, and he killed, his first recorded kill was when he was 13 years old, where he butchered a man who insulted his teacher. In 190, he joined Cao Cao in the coalition against Dongzhuo and fought many, many battles. Now, it should be noted that Xiao Dun, for most of his career, even though he's attached to Cao Cao through loyalty, is actually literally part of the Emperor's forces. He's a Han general, not one of Cao Cao's generals. But he obviously worked for Cao Cao directly. It was more of an administrative thing rather than an actual thing. In 193, when Lu Bu finally arrived in Cao Cao's lands, he was defending a city called Puyang in Yan province. He realized that Cao Cao's family was under threat, so he led a lightly armored force out to go and rescue them. He actually engaged Lu Bu's army during this time and beat them, though, to be honest, Lu Bu actually saw that Puyang was undefended, so Lu Bu probably didn't want to actually fight it so much as go around it and take the city. So he lost the city in saving Cao Cao's family. He then unfortunately fell for a ruse where Lu Bu told some people to go and surrender to Xiao Dun. They went to surrender to Xiao Dun and then captured him in his own tent. This led to a lot of panic in Xiao Dun's army, but Xiao Dun had an officer under him called Han Hao. Now, Han Hao is another character who is in Cao Cao's forces at the beginning. He's quite an important character, but at this stage he's an officer under Xiao Dun, and he basically locked down the camp, prevented the panic, got all the officers together and said, get your men in their tents, anybody who steps out of their tent dies. Then took a selection of trusted men, walked in Xiao Dun's tent and said to the captors, like, the law is this, I'm going to kill every one of you no matter what happens. I'm not going to negotiate with you. If Xiao Dun dies, Xiao Dun dies. He turns around to Xiao Dun, tears in his eyes, and says, I'm sorry, boss, but this is the law. Xiao Dun's like, so be it. Then he says to his men, kill him. And the men rush forward, and all of the people who are capturing Xiao Dun drop their weapons. Please don't kill us. And they surrender, and Xiao Dun is saved. And then, of course, he ends up killing all those people anyway. But this begins what Cao Cao would then use later on as a law that basically said, we don't negotiate. If they've captured one of our people, we kill them. We don't send money to them. There's no ransom, nothing else. And yeah, Cao Cao, from then on, he doesn't negotiate. If his people are captured, they're captured. He just won't negotiate. But Xiao Dun was saved by Han Hao, and that's where this starts. And that's why Xiao Dun doesn't have an army at the beginning. Normally he has an army, or at least is in an army. But at this stage, he doesn't. There are also other noteworthy characters. There are too many to list on here, but we'll go into them as the game starts. Now, Cao Cao's starting situation is hard because obviously he's fighting Lu Bu, and Lu Bu is unbelievably overpowered in this game. He's also surrounded by enemies. You have Yuan Shu, you have Liu Bei, you have the threat of Yuan Shao, who is your friend right now, but is growing to an enemy. You have Zheng Jiang, who is untrustworthy and probably wasn't there at this. I mean, there's debates about actually how historically accurate she is anyway, whether she was one person, two people, whatever. But that bandit that she is representing, at least, probably didn't start till 210 anyway. So, she really shouldn't be there, but she does actually represent quite nicely the fact that this area was swarming with bandits. So she serves a really good purpose there. There's also like Li Jue, and Li Xian, and Yang Feng, and all the people who end up juggling the Emperor over here. So he's surrounded by enemies, which is why it's hard. He is a cavalry commander, so he has the -10 upkeep for cavalry and the 15 military supplies because he was a great administrator in that sense. He's actually, as far as commanders go as well, he is by far the best commander in the game. He can do a little bit of everything. His authority and cunning is just out of this world. His faction specialization is exactly the same. It's credibility, so you can incite proxy wars, influence diplomatic relations. He has the Tiger and Leopard cavalry, which are my favorite cavalry type in this game. There are others that are slightly better at shock, there are others that are slightly better at melee, but they are extremely good. I think also they are marginally underpowered based on their historical ability. These guys were the best of the best in the cavalry sense. He gets farming garrisons, which are really quite nice for food and replenishment and just garrisons, and Tuntian conscription. Now, he was not the only person who actually used Tuntians. Han Hao and another general called Zhao Zhi were the two people who recommended Cao Cao reintroduce the Tuntien. It's an old system. Certainly Gongsun Zan definitely used Tuntians. Tao Qian definitely used Tuntians. Not everyone did, but a lot of them did. But what he did was really make it work for the refugees coming into his area and a lot of the displaced families by giving them a place of their own where they could produce food, and in return they provide soldiers for service, and it made sure that that particular unit was fed. You know, it was very, very cleverly implemented system for him. He did it better than anyone else, certainly. But anyway, like I said, this is his situation. He was busy wailing on Tao Qian. He unfortunately died. Liu Bei took over, and his lands revolted against him, so Cao Cao had to return back, and now he's fighting Lu Bu. Anyway, that's the history lesson. Let's get into the game.
年少时，孩儿总是活在父辈的阴影之下。然而幼子，终有长大成人的一天。
届时吾辈必须独当一面，
做出抉择。是要继承父辈的基业，
亦或另辟蹊径。 命由我，此生伟绩，当由孤自己书写。
您被背叛了，主公。 吕布煽动了您麾下的不少将士叛逃到他一方，打算一同反抗您的统治。
慷慨如我，也要遭人背叛吗？很好，如今看来，无需对吕布这次手下留情了。此不过皮肉之伤，险界之急，与我麾下大军不可同日而语。
如今陶谦已死。 主公应立即从吕布手中夺回都城，重整势力。
正是如此，陶谦恶徒谋害我父，本不该容他寿终正寝。不过现下盘桓于此并无益处。刘备继承了他的领地，目前而言，我不打算与他再起干戈。
待主公平定吕布之后，便可向西进军。 天子如今仍为李傕、郭汜二人所挟，而两人现下正为此大打出手。
他们若是鹬蚌相争，我正可以渔翁得利；若是他们因自相残杀而损耗兵力，那便无力抵抗我军的进攻。
此外，故都洛阳虽已毁于战火，却仍是天下人心中的帝都所在。主公自当将之纳于掌中。
的确如此，我当竭尽全力与袁绍抗衡。此人势力日益强盛，且傲慢自大，不可轻视。假以时日，天下终究会重回太平盛世。在此之前，我当谨慎处置。
Okay, so here we are. So, first thing, you need to restore order. Lord Cao Cao, you are betrayed. While you were delivering justice against Chen on behalf of your murdered father, your vassals at home turned against you. In their madness, they invited the treacherous rogue Lu Bu to lead them. Now you have returned and the rebels are on the run. Reclaim your lost territory and destroy those who dare betray you. You need to drive Lu Bu from Chen, and we need to look for opportunities to restore our economy. Cao Cao reclaims land stolen through treachery. The ungrateful traitor Lu Bu has rebelled against your just rule, declaring himself against you and petulantly seizing your lands that are rightfully yours. There is only one choice: reclaim them, put all traitors, including that miserable wretch Lu Bu, to the sword. So we need to take back Chen, which of course is our city. You can see here, like I said, we have Xun Yu and Cao Cao. Both of them have armies. He has Yue Jin, and Xun Yu has Dian Wei and Cao Ren. Cao Ren, of course, is Cao Cao's younger cousin. Bit of a wild child. Had a band of followers, and they went hunting and generally smashing shit up as a youth before joining Cao Cao, and becoming one of his very trusted generals over time. Yeah, very important character. Still hasn't been given any love whatsoever in the far of uniqueness with the game, which upsets me no end every time I see it. There are a lot less deserving characters who have been given unique status. Anyway, we have some, I mean, they're not bad, but, you know, not bad. So first thing I'm going to do is deal with this. Just generally have a look at what we have. If you look on the weapons front, we have a selection of unique weapons with our people. I'm going to go over our people in a second. Cao Cao, of course, has his armor and his mount. As far as followers go, we have nothing particularly useful for Cao Cao here, or anything particularly useful for them. We need to keep some of these people happy. Now, you can see he has a lot of generals. A lot. Lady Bien, his wife, not actually his number one wife at this stage. Lady Ding was his number one wife at this stage, the mother of Cao Ang. But Lady Bien is more famous because she's the mother of people like Cao Pi, Cao Zhe. And she became the number one because after Cao Ang died, Lady Ding sort of refused to see Cao Cao. So, yeah, she became the number one later. Yu Jin, who's another one of the 5 elite generals, very, very famous general in his own right. A little bit more cautious than Yue Jin, but, you know, was a very solid commander in his own right. Xu Chu, of course, the Tiger Fool, absolute monster in this game. He became the bodyguard after Dian Wei's death. Xiahou Yuan, who you'll all know because he's there in the base game, cousin of Xiahou Dun. As far as vanguards go, he's a pretty poor vanguard, the way they've statted him out, which is a shame. He was renowned for being lightning fast with the way he moved his armies. Was brilliant. He did a lot of the campaigns in the west against Ma Teng, Ma Chao. Unfortunately for him, he did die in battle. Zhang He was one of his commanders. Zhang He was, of course, is one of Cao Cao's 5 elite generals, so Xiahou Yuan was his superior. Then we have Cheng Yu, who is one of Cao Cao's famous advisors. He is renowned as the ruthless pragmatist. There's a story that backs this up, and the story goes like this. So Cao Cao was suffering a famine in his provinces. He was fighting a war and against Yuan Shao, and he was thinking about pulling back because he just couldn't stay in the field. His men were going to starve. His people back home were going to starve. It was looking really bad. And Cheng Yu, who was quite combative as an advisor, most people were a little bit more respectful. He wasn't. Sort of said, how can you call yourself a great man if you can't beat that pathetic wretch just because you're lacking some food? And against other generals, people who weren't quite so, like Cao Cao was really good at noticing the actual message they were saying rather than how they said it a lot of the time. And he promoted merit as opposed to like family background and all the rest. Like that was one of his things, a meritocracy. And so he understood what Cheng Yu was saying, that he was better than this person and that he had all the opportunities to win, and it's just the food that's holding him back. So Cao Cao said, okay then, I'll stay in the field, but you've got 3 days to get me the food. Cheng Yu was a little bit surprised by this. He wasn't expecting to have it thrown back at him like that. So he took some men and he went back to his hometown to get some food. And what he did was he captured everyone in his hometown, slaughtered them, had them butchered, and fed them to Cao Cao's armies as if they were pigs. Which boosted the morale of Cao Cao's men, because of course they didn't know where the food had come from. They thought they were being given a feast. It solved the food crisis. Was it morally right? No, absolutely not. Did it solve the problem? Yeah, it did. So yeah, he's the ruthless pragmatist for a good reason. Xiaodun, who we've covered, and then Han Hao, who we covered a little bit as well, the feeder of armies, because of course he supported the Tuntian idea, and also he's the chap who saved Xiaodun. Okay, so we've got them covered. As you can see, Cheng Yu is desperately unhappy. We don't want to lose him. He is really good. So we're going to throw in some of this stuff just because it's going to keep him happy, okay? Oh, did not mean you, sorry. We're going to throw in some of this stuff because it's going to keep him happy, okay? Anything else that we give him, whatever, later, we can deal with. But you'll notice here, flaming shot, all that stuff, he's much more wary than, say, Xun Yu, who is much more administrative-y, okay? So this is your war strategist, Xun Yu's your home strategist, if that makes sense with how they're statted out. For the other guys, we've got Yue Jin, Cao Ren. Cao Ren isn't bad, Yue Jin isn't bad. For satisfaction wise, because we're not going to be able to keep Yue Jin happy, I would definitely give this to him. I just give stuff to these chaps here to keep them happy for now, and we are going to throw out some assignments and the like as well to help, but just generally they need some stuff in that direction to keep them happier. Right. Now, normally I would go for trade agreements, the diplomacy, and sort of that stuff first, but with Cao Cao, I don't advise you do that. What you want to do is take Chen first before you do anything else. And we're going to take Chen in a slightly different way. First thing we're going to do, and this is something I didn't do, and it's something I read actually, and I think it's a really good idea. It's better than what I had initially done. That is detach Xun Yu. Come here, Xun Yu. Alright, let's select him here. And he is going to lead the attack, okay? Now that says Pyrrhic victory and all the rest. Don't worry, we're just going to continue the siege for a second. We're going to move Cao Cao, so he is a little bit closer. What we want to do is sort of move the armies up north towards Yinchuan, because Lu Bu is right here, okay? So we're going to shift Cao Cao over here, because he's still going to be able to support in this attack. And then we have more men being able to fight this battle. And now we're going to fight it, okay? It says a close victory. We don't have any flaming shot. We don't have fire arrows or any of that stuff. So, you know, it's not ideal, but we need to fight it. So I'll see you in the battle. Okay, here we are. We've got reinforcements coming in over here. That's going to probably be Cao Cao and Yue Jin. And we've got Cao Ren and Dian Wei coming in over here. This isn't an ideal attacking spot, to be honest. I'd much rather be attacking over this side because of how the towers line up. So I am going to form up over here. Now, we don't have flaming shot and we don't have fire arrows. So we're probably not going to be able to knock this blasting tower down, but we can knock holes in the wall. So that's what we're going to aim for, okay? So, come on, here we are. Punch a hole in that wall there. Cao Ren, he's coming with his men, Dian Wei as well. We're going to shift all of these boys up over there to where the hole in the wall is going to be. Come on, Dian Wei, where are your troops? Here they come. See, Dian Wei's actually got some quite useful troops for this.
胜利近在咫尺。
Turret as well, to be fair, with the axes. Right, all you boys over here. Now, on this side, we have another army. This army could potentially lose quite a lot of men rushing up here to take this. But it's sort of worth doing. So, let's rush up our commanders at top speed. Cao Cao as well, you will see he is lightning fast. We'll move you chaps up here. Leave the tiger and leopards behind. What I want to do here is see if we can take this gate. That's the aim. Good, Jin. Come on. We'll see if Cao Cao gets into that area too, so we can pop this. If not, Cao Cao's going to have to kind of take it himself. You're going to start to be shot in a second. Or do I hold my nerve and wait? To be honest, I don't think it matters that much.
杀进城去。
Cao Cao's going to get there. Right. A wall down here, good. Let's put a wall down here. You're Jin, I need you off your horse. And I want you up that wall. Cao Cao, I need you off your horse. And I need you up that wall. Come on. Yue Jin is actually famous for being first up the walls in a couple of sieges against Lu Bu as well. Actually, that Xiao Pei, the historical battle, is one of those sieges where he's famous for doing it. Is that cavalry moving out? No, it's not. Thank God. Right, just moving there to support. We're going to put some more stuff down onto that wall there. Right, Cao Cao. You take this one, please. And Jin, take this one, please. I need that to be decapped. And then if Cao Cao can take this lovely tower here, we will start to be able to open this up to our troops coming over. And if any of these idiots think they can beat Yue Jin and Cao Cao, Yue Jin, by the way, is level 1. So obviously isn't at his absolute most incredible best. That has to be said. But I should state this. Despite that, he can outduel Zhang Liao. Okay, I have learned this the hard way when I thought, because Zhang Liao's not the best duelist, but Zhang Liao starts off what, rank 3, rank 4? I thought he'd just out-level Yue Jin, because Yue Jin isn't a bad duelist. But no. Zhang Liao gets absolutely owned, even though he's a few levels up. So you can rely on Yue Jin quite a bit, actually, to do a few things. Right, let's speed it up just a touch whilst we're blowing stuff up. These boys are exhausted having gone up the wall, but that doesn't matter. 1, 2, 3. You chaps in, you come. I think you can come in too. On your horse, big man. Good boy. Right, he's gonna come in. Cao Cao's gonna take this just to prevent our boys being shot at a little bit over here. But we might take a little bit of damage from this one, but that's fine. We'll deal with that in a second. How are we doing on this front? We have the wall down there. Good. Right, just throw some rocks in over here. These boys are starting to get up to positions. Cao Cao, have you taken that yet? No, you're not quite in the zone. There we kind of go. Fine, just get right to that corner then. There we go. Yue Jin just kind of waiting. Wait for the lads to come in. Yeah, our boys being shot as they come in, that's fine. Cao Cao, out you come. I'm going to put you on a horse. Right, it's time. Let's go, 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 go. Okay, advance up this way. You boys form up in there. And you chaps can advance up that way. Your Jin can just have a little bit of fun. Kill, kill, kill and all that. Cav, in you come. Right. Then over this front, we have a decision to make. And that decision is... Oh, maybe they're going to make it for us. I was going to say that decision is which guy gets the front of the spears and which guy gets the side. But apparently, they're quite happy to let us through. So they're going to go through. Yujin's going to take a little bit of damage doing this. But that's fine. He just needs to distract these chaps long enough. We'll pop that again for him just so he's not taking excess damage. These boys here can start to rain arrows in over here. You can get on your horse, please, big man. Right. Up here. Quickly. Cao Cao, you two. Up here. Cav's coming in. Jin, just hold there for a sec. Take that. Good man. Right, now go forward. You know what? You can just hold there and take that one. That will be fantastic. Good. Over here, they're starting to be pinned down, so now we can start to send in our troops, which is what I wanted. So Dianwei's a monster as well. He'll be fine just holding there and taking them out for as long as possible. Our Cav has come through, so they can deal with that. Your Jin, you can keep advancing and take this. You boys, how are you doing? I think we can pop that just to get a little bit of extra help. You lads, up here. Good man, Yujin. Go take this one, please. Yeah, just hold there. Take that gate. Charge. Good lad. I think you can take that one too. Just make sure we have everything covered. Fight over here is very much going in our way. Look. Dianwei 67, Tyrant 39. It's not a bad effort. If these axes would hurry up, we would absolutely slaughter. I didn't move them forward far enough to make best use of time, but I think they get the picture. Right. That's taken. Let's shift up here. You boys, well, you're Jin, you boy. Over here, get a rear charge. We're going to smash them right in the back. Chase them unto death, please. I think these archers can shift up here. Can't see this G unit being able to hold very much at all. Go take that. Good. Nicely done. Everybody in apart from the cavalry. Cavalry back over this way, please. Okay. Go. Dianwei that way. Torren this way. I think you can come in as well, just as we mop up, see if we can get a few extra kills. Be quite useful. Right. You boys, if you wouldn't mind. Yeah, Jin, chase them. You can come here. I don't want to charge in with my cavalry because they're going to get annihilated by this spear unit, but this cav can annihilate that group there. Yeah, Jin, if you wouldn't mind. You go with your man. You chaps form here. Cao Cao's taking the middle. Come on, Dianwei. Go, 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 go. What are my cavalry doing? They've been confused by the steps. Pop this. There we go. Nicely done. Now we can move this cav up. Go on, get a rear charge in over here. They're breaking. Torren, please. Don't give up the chase now. Down where you two. Chase, 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 chase. Get as many kills as you possibly can. Even though we have definitely... Well, these guys are not going to hold. How are you doing against them? Yeah, you keep killing them, that's fine. You boys chase them. This rear charge here by the infantry is going to make them break. These guys here are going to break. Shiyu is starting to get some kills. He actually has this, which is quite nice for stopping abilities for enemy generals if he's nearby. It does mean you risk him in the fight, mind, but yeah, it's not a bad thing. And there we go. Victory. Pretty simple. Barely lost any men. Yeah, Jin took a little bit of a pounding, but decisive. Right, not bad. Right, we lost 265 men. That's not bad. We've taken this. And we've completed this to control Chen, which is very nice. Glorious victory. This victory is just the beginning, a cautious tactical beginning. From here I must continue to consolidate and expand. Future victory will come only through careful strategy. So, Cao Cao restores the damage done. The world can only be righted from its chaotic trajectory by a wise and stable hand, yours. Lu Bu's treachery has knocked your plans from their axis, but all is not lost. You can reconsolidate your strength, gather your forces, and continue on towards restoring order. At the end of your turn, have an income of at least 200. Now, our income was really bad. It's now still pretty bad. And this will put us on the path to glory, which is really good. 15% income from peasantry, population growth, and public order. Works very, very nicely. We've got a dignified raiment. How lovely. Right, let's just have a quick look to see if this dignified raiment will work with anyone in particular. Not really. It's got to be with commander. We don't really have anyone who can use it. So... be it. That is really bad for him. We'll need to deal with that in a second. Right, but the reason why we detached Shiyu is because you can see Lu Bu is right there. So what we want to do is make sure our armies are close enough so they can support each other in case he attacks. He can't advance any further forward, unfortunately. But yeah, they're close enough to support each other in case he attacks, because we probably can't defeat him on our own. Okay? Lu Bu is crazy powerful. He's rank 9. So yeah, they're there for that reason alone. Now we can start to look at diplomacy. So first of all, we're going to have a look at trade agreements. So trade agreements, we have Liu Chong. We want to trade with Liu Chong, even though he's not going to survive very long. Because he gives us 367, he's in Chen, and, you know, he's relatively useful. And we want to try, always, right now, because we need to get that 200, is request regular payments, okay? Even a small amount like this is going to help. That'll do. Okay? On the other hand, we've got all of these boys here, right? And if you look at them, let's pick Liu Biao, for example. He isn't that, you know, like, that's not a bad amount of money, but it's a -6, right? Let's check Li Jue. -7, right? Let's check Yuan Shu, okay? 1.9. The reason why we're checking all of these is because we're looking to see who's going to give us the easiest deal to get, and that's definitely Liu Biao. Liu Biao has all of these resources. Yuan Shu doesn't have any resources. Li Jue doesn't have any resources. Liu Biao also gives us the most money, so it's definitely worth going for Liu Biao. Yuan Shu is not our friend. He's someone we've been at war with. But if he gives you a better offer, take the money. Li Jue is not our friend. But if he gives you a better offer, take the money. One thing's guaranteed is Liu Biao is not someone that we are really going to be openly trying to declare war on in the near future. So he's a relatively safe bet. We might need to hand over a little bit of money for it, but that's fine. Hand over the money. You know, we're going to get more per turn anyway. Okay? So that's really quite useful. What you can also do is have a look here to see non-aggression pacts. Anyone who's in the green, have a look to see if you can get something from it. Now, Sun Ce right now is 0.0, so it's not really going to be that helpful. Again, with the military access, not really that helpful. But keep checking every turn to see if there's something you can get from doing these things. Coalition, everything else is very unlikely to happen. You might get offered it from Yuan Shao, but you know, not much you can do there. Now, we need to spend some money. So let's have a look at Chen. We have space here to build something. This isn't exactly the perfect, because we know it's a farming community, this isn't the perfect setup, but it's not a bad setup, you know, for making money. Chen, unfortunately, loses public order consistently for ages and ages and ages. So what I would do here is put in a Confucian shrine, okay? I'd 100% do that just to keep the everything happy in Chen, so you don't need to leave an army behind in case people start to go nuts. In Yingchuan, what I do here is build a lodge, get some more money, and Luoyang, because you own the lumberyard, is just upgrade this. Very, very simple. Now, Chen the farmland, what you want to do eventually as well, like when this is built, is convert this, okay? Because you're going to get a replenishment boost. If you look at our basics here, you get lots of food, which is quite nice. Here you get slightly less food, but you get the replenishment. You're going to be doing a lot of fighting in this area, so replenishment is quite nice. If you think about it, Yuan Shu is a target for us to take out. We're going to have to fight along here, so replenishment is good. Probably going to have to fight up here, so replenishment is going to be quite handy in Yingchuan when we take this farmland back. And of course, we're fighting in Chen as we speak right at this moment in time. Now let's have a look at the court. Our heir is currently Cao Pi. Now, Cao Pi, I mean, for one, historically this time he shouldn't be, it should be Cao Ang. Secondly, he doesn't give us any bonuses whatsoever. So what I would do is make her heir, because it just ups the satisfaction, which is quite nice. So if we have a look here, see, 11% satisfaction faction-wide, which is, you know, pretty solid, really quite solid. As far as administrators, we can have an administrator. Of all of these chaps down here, you can have a look. We actually have some really good administrators, right? Look at Taren. But of course he needs an industrial base to it. Xiao Dun, peasantry income, really quite nice. Chongyu, maybe not. Xiao Yuan, maybe not. Xinyu, look at that. That's absolutely incredible. Xu Chu, yeah, Eugene isn't bad. For now, even though you're going to get this lovely hit to your public order, you need the money, okay? And you get a reduction in mustering turns. So I would throw in Xiao Dun to be your administrator. It's either between him or between Xin Yu for me, because if we look at Xin Yu has the income from all sources, he has the income from industry, and he has +5 food production. The reason why I wouldn't use him specifically right now is because even though he has the +5 food production, which is very, very nice, you just need the money, and he's probably better better placed in a city where you have a commerce industry or peasant industry mix, okay? So we're going to choose Xiao Dun, and we're going to throw him into Yingchuan, okay? Because Yingchuan is generally more happy. That's going to make everyone quite nice. You also have these things here, right? You have the Grand Commandant, which is going to reduce the recruitment cost, which is quite nice. You don't need to spend the money right at this moment in time, okay? This one, 15% income from industry. You don't have any industry, so you don't need to, well, you know, you might have a little bit, but you don't need to spend the money right now. But these are things you can definitely give to people like Chongyu in the very near future. For reasons I don't quite understand, Yujin is your chancellor. And that gives you income from peasantry. It's quite nice to have that. Why Yujin is your chancellor, not Xinyu, I do not understand at all. But it doesn't matter. You can see as well now, we actually are making positive income, okay? So what can we do to push this income up so that we can get 200 straight away? Well, there's a couple of things. We have food. Food is something that we can trade away. If we go over to negotiate and have a look at the people we can trade with, Yuan Tan is very poor. We might be able to get some stuff from him. He always needs food later on, but he doesn't need any right now. Sun Ce, for example, needs food. You can go to offer food, trade, and see how much he will give you per turn. Well, not much, unfortunately, but you can go through all of this and just try and flog off your food for a little bit here, a little bit there to make it work, which is actually what I did in my Let's Play. That's fine. Another thing you can do, look how much this is costing you per turn. It's just boot this thing, okay? I didn't do that in my Let's Play because I was using that catapult, but to be honest, Shinyu is no good at siege warfare right at this moment in time, so it doesn't hurt you to lose it, okay? So I just kick that out straight away, and that's going to give you, basically allow you to complete that mission instantly. Now, we also want to do some assignments, so let's bring up some assignments. We have our boy here, Chengyu, who's very upset. So what we want to do is stimulate markets. We want to look to see where's giving us the best commerce income. So that's 164. And, 241. So we can go to Yingchuan. And we're going to go to stimulate markets. Boom. Give him something to do. Keep him happy for a little bit. We also want to do tax collection, which is with Lady Bian. And again, we're looking for where gives us the best peasantry. And that is definitely Yingchuan. So we're in Yingchuan, so let's do this. And finally, supervise construction. And to be honest, it can be Chen, it can be Yingchuan. It doesn't matter with this one, but I'm on Yingchuan, so I'm going to do it in Yingchuan. There we go. All nice and done. Everything's looking shiny and fantastic. And I think, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for turn one. We're going to see where Lu Bu moves. Lu Bu has a tendency to either go up here and swing around here to get very brave and attack you straight away, or just sort of hang around in this forest. So 3 options. We will see what he does, but we need to keep these boys as close together as possible, so that they can support each other within 1 turn if Lu Bu starts to attack. Okay, see you next turn. Okay, one major thing happened in that end turn, and that is Lu Bu advanced on Cao Ren's army, and I clicked retreat, okay? Lu Bu has the ability to do night battles or something, I guess, so I could not bring in all my reinforcements to fight, but you'll see Lu Bu is exactly where I want him. He has done, of the 3 options I gave, one of him running west to Yingchuan, one of him going north to the farm at Yingchuan, or advancing, he's done the one that actually suits us best for the speed purposes, okay? Also, Yang Feng has declared war on Li Jue. This is important for Cao Cao, okay? Yang Feng, historically, is the guy who pulled the emperor out of Chang'an and brought him back to Luoyang. And then it's at Luoyang where Cao Cao sort of took over the control of the emperor. So we want to pay attention to what's going on in the capital. Most of the factions, it doesn't really directly affect you because you can't influence it. Cao Cao is one who is very much involved in this. Cao Cao restores the damage done. At the end of your turn, have an income of at least 200. So we've got Path to Glory, which gives us faction-wide income of peasantry, population growth, and public order, which is lovely. And now we have Pursue Lu Bu. Enough is enough. You have toiled to undo the damage wrought by Lu Bu's insolence. And now you must expunge his treason from China entirely. Ensure that never again will his treachery poison the land. Put the peerless warrior before the blade. So, again, if we do this, we get more Path to Glory, same bonuses, and we need to destroy Lu Bu within 24 turns. Re-establish your power. Although you have served as faithfully as you could for as long as you could, it is now obvious to all that the Han have failed and their dynasty is ending. As passes their lineage, the question becomes who will rise up to replace it. The other warlords of this land lack the strength or the wisdom, qualities you wholly possess. Your time is coming, Cao Cao. Your dynasty may be about to rise, if you can it built. Yeah. So you need to reach the faction rank of Marcus, and you will get 2,000. How wonderful that is. Faction developments, character developments. Now there are some interesting people who show up here. I didn't really go through the guys who are already available in the pool at the beginning. Look out for people like Li Dian. Look out for who's another one of Cao Cao's great generals. Look out for people like Zhao Zhi, who's another one of Cao Cao's generals. Actually worked with Han Hao to implement the Tuntian system for Cao Cao. You know, there are some great people. Xun You, who shows up, who should already be with Cao Cao at this stage. Guo Jia is another one. Look up for them so you can recruit them. We've got a grey thoroughbred. How lovely. I don't think this grey thoroughbred really. Oh, grey thoroughbred. What am I doing? Torren, because you're family, you can have it. There we go. Right. Now, we have Lu Bu right here, okay? Lu Bu is a monster. Lu Bu is unbreakable, which is so frustrating because you can kill off his entire army to a man, and he will still beat your forces. So his army's shit, but he is tough to fight. I mean, his army's not that bad, but it's not great. But he is personally tough to fight. So what we're gonna do is gang up on him, right? So we've got one army, 2, 3. He's gonna run, and then we're gonna have same again. 1, 2, 3. And this is giving us a close victory. Why is it giving us a close victory? Because Lu Bu is a monster. Okay? He is an absolute monster. Otherwise, this would be a very, very simple fight. Okay? If you are... Like, you're going to lose casualties against Lu Bu, whether you do an auto-resolve or whether you fight it straight out. If you are in any way concerned about fighting this, just take the delegation, okay? Just delegate it, let the generals handle it. Historically, Yue Jin dueled Lu Bu to a draw. In this game, Lu Bu will take him out in one hit, right? When he does his special move. So just bear that in mind if you're going to fight it. If you have all of these guys together, like Dian Wei as well, this is someone who should be able to match him, but can't in this game. And obviously your other guys like Cao Ren doesn't stand a chance in hell, Cao Cao doesn't stand a chance in hell. So yeah, if you're unsure, just delegate it. I'm going to fight it off screen because there's no real need for you to see this battle. I'm going to lose some casualties, but the point is we need to destroy his army. Okay, so I'll see you after the battle. Now, I'd like you just to take note of how many he personally killed. Okay? Absolutely terrifying. Take the replenishment. He has 81 men remaining, okay? But look at my generals. Look at them. I mean, Dian Wei held up, actually, to be fair. Xun Yu did well keeping out of it. Take the replenishment. But that's his army gone. Ancillaries, we've got Master of the Hunt. So that's a nice new title for us. What we can do now, and what I like to do, is combine these armies back again, so we can get Xun Yu, actually probably Dian Wei I think is the better general. Let me just double check this. Army reinforcement range, morale. Yeah, Dian Wei is the better general. So we're going to put Dian Wei in charge. Cao Ren, unfortunately, doesn't have anything. And we're going to start to march towards Yingchuan so we can take this farmland. Really that simple. Replenishment and everything else is going on. There's not much we can do really, apart from just try and turn that, convert that building over this turn. You could, if you wanted to as well, have a check at the non-aggression packs and stuff like that. Tangba's a bandit just over here. He's at war with everyone under the sun, but he's not going to give you much for it. Military access is pretty similar. But you can't do great things really. Main aim is we're going to push on to Yingchuan farmland. Yingchuan farmland has a pretty mediocre garrison. He may recruit another general in that town as we advance. These guys are going to take a long time to replenish, as you can see. 5 turns. Lads here, 8 turns, whatever. But this force should still be enough to go in there and smash them. So don't worry too much about that. Is there any other building we can do right at this moment in time? I don't think there should be. No, it's just that for upgrading. Right, so other than that, you can always remember to invoke your council. I forgot to do that on the first turn, but you can do it whenever, which is just going to ask us to deal with overpopulation. So you've got that there for when you've got enough money, you can start to upgrade these. Actually, Yingchuan and Chen are both all right, to be honest. But, ladies and gentlemen, let's go on to the next turn. Right, so we're now in turn 3. Lu Bu's armies have been defeated. We're starting to get more supplies here in this army, having combined the guys together. That's why I'm not that fussed about combining them. I know we lose some supplies, but you regain it fast enough. Yuan Shu declares war on He Yi. He Yi is down in Runan here. It's actually a territory you probably want to take as well, because that's a lot of industry in that area. That's really, really good income, especially with some of the potential administrators you have in your court. Yeah, we can't do it right at this moment in time. People have become friendly with each other, which is just wonderful. But the main aim of this turn is to get our boys here advancing up towards this farmland. So that's precisely what we're going to do. So, yeah, everyone advance. Alright, their supplies are down, so they're not down that much, but, you know, we need to keep the two armies together so we can take that farmland. Over in Chen, we have more stuff we can build. So what we're looking for here, really, is stuff that's going to provide us with extra food. Food trader is not an option I have ever gone with under any circumstances. You make so much more money from the 6 food than you do from just the 220 income from peasantry you get from it. And the pop growth you'll get with this anyway. So I would always go with this option here. You've got the money for it, so you can definitely drop that. Another option you can go for here is to boost your income from commerce. If you look, we're already making 198 from commerce. This is going to boost it a chunk, and then we'll get the plus 50%. Which one of these you go for doesn't matter. You want to do one, then the other, no matter what you do. So for me personally, I prefer trading food, so I like to have the food earlier. So I'll go up and do that. We still have ministers that are unassigned. There's no one here. Zhao Zhi. So if you can get enough money together, he's quite an interesting champion you can get. Father of the Tuntian, worked with Han Hao to set it up, as I said. Mao Jie is he's another one of Tartar's strategists. He's a very warlike strategist. Flaming shot, fire arrows, everything very, very quickly. Other people there, none of them are anyone you really need to look out for early game use. And as always, we just have a quick check of diplomacy, see if we can do anything. Zhang Bao's probably still not going to offer as much for this. Negotiate. No, still not going to offer us a huge amount. That's fine. Now, on the coalition front, there is a likelihood that Yuan Shao will offer us to join a coalition at some stage soon, or Liu Bei, even though we've been at war with him very recently. Of the two, depends how you want to play your game. But if you side with Yuan Shao, you're going to have to end up going at war with Yuan Shu, Liu Bei, Kongrong, everyone over here, because that's that storyline. And that is sort of following the history a little bit more closely. If you side with Liu Bei, then that means you're still going to war with Yuan Shu, no matter what. But it means you're heading up north to take out Yuan Shao. You're going to have to take out these guys eventually anyway, either through diplomatic means or through war. Kongrong and Liu Bei are much more trustworthy allies than Yuan Shao in this game. Much more trustworthy. So I'm just going to lay that out there with those options. Anyway, it's a very quick turn. See you next turn. So Yuan Shu has declared war on Lu Bu at the start of this. Well, good for him. He's not going to get involved in this fight. It's not going to help you. Liu Bei has formed a coalition with Kongrong, which is sort of expected. Character elements, you've got Zhou Xin, Yuan Yangjiang, and Yue Jin has statted up. So let's have a look at him. I love Zeal. The armor piercing damage and the melee attack rate up. You can of course go across here if you wish to, but that's not my type of thing with her. With him, Lady Bian has also statted up. Now she's currently our heir, so I would go for these things just to help along the way. Have a look at Chongyu. Chongyu is a little bit happier. That's not bad at all. We have a reform. So reforms here, always, if you can, go for the extra trade agreement. Because even if you can't get it straight away through diplomacy, you'll be able to get it soon enough. So let's have a look. We can get a trade agreement. We can get a trade agreement with Li Jie, who is right here. Li Jie, of course, isn't someone we really care that much about, but he seems to like us a little bit. He's not going to offer us very much, though. Okay, that's 150. How much would he give us? Just hard cash. Not 150. Well, it's not great. But just take what you can. There we go. That's fine. Non-aggression packs. You can also get one with Ligia if you wished. He's obviously not going to give you a huge amount of money, as we saw. And military access. I wouldn't get a non-aggression pack with Ligia, to be honest. I mean, it won't hurt you because you're not actually going to go to war with him. He gets taken out eventually. But yeah, up to you really. You don't really seem to get much out of it, even though you never really end up going to war against him. Right, anyway, most important thing is we move up towards Yingchuan here. This is a close victory. We're just going to starve it out, move up the reinforcements. It isn't necessary, really. You can fight the battle with just one army, but I just don't see the point in losing the casualties. So, yeah, here we go. Decisive victory. Just delegate it out. There's no need to worry too much about it. There we go. Nicely done. Occupy. Boom. Establishing order. This settlement will be a valuable tool in our continuing endeavours. It must thrive. The population must grow that it might best serve our needs. We've got experience for Cao Cao. We have pursued Lu Bu, and he has been destroyed, which has given us more path of glory. So even greater income from peasantry and all the rest. And Lu Bu has been destroyed for now. Falling star, old alliances crumble. Alliances, even friendships, are only as durable as the times allow. And these were very fractious times indeed. Yuan family were stalwart friends once, but there can be no room for companions that will ultimately bring us to ruin. So we need to destroy Yuan Shao within 25 turns, and we get big bonuses. Right. So, you're not going to be able to destroy Yuan Shao within 25 turns unless you throw all of your energy at it. Okay? He has a vassal over here, Gao Gan. He has a vassal over here, Yuan Tan, his son. He's at war with Gongsun Zan, which will distract him. Okay? He is about to take out Tian Kai. Tian Kai is here. Tian Kai is Gongsun Zan's vassal. Next turn, turn after, or the turn after that, Tian Kai will fall. He will be replaced with Pu Lanjing, who will set up camp here. Gongsun Zan has all of this territory here, but he has two very pathetic armies, and no generals of note whatsoever. I mean, it's not strictly true. He does have a general of note, Tian Yu. But the game has decided that Tian Yu must be the world's most appallingly skilled general. So, someone who was actually quite a solid general for Cao Cao, eventually, though he starts off with Gongsun Zan, it's pretty crap. Gongsun Zan as well is fighting his own rebellion with Xiang Yufu, so Yuan Shao can end up fighting on a couple of fronts here, so you can take advantage of that. But like I said, you need to throw all of your efforts into it, and Yuan Shu is an opportunist bastard, and he will attack you if you throw all of your armies up north. So just bear that in mind. So we're not going to focus on dealing with that, even though you do get very good bonuses for it, unless you feel you can set up an army down here to defend you very, very quickly. I don't think it's potentially the best option to throw yourself into that straight away. As far as forming a coalition goes, you can't do that. But what you can do, if you are going to go for Yuan Shao, and like I said, Liu Bei and people are much happier allies than anything else, you can request to join this coalition. Now, they're both against it very, very strongly right now, okay? But Cao Cao does have this credibility. Now, you can start to use this from this point onwards. Just to show you an example, let's go to Liu Bei. So he is trending upwards, okay? So you don't really need to. Where's Kong Rong? Do we have him here? No, we don't have him here. But let's say, negotiate with him. You can go to diplomatic treaties here, and you can manipulate positive. And you can manipulate positive to love you more. Select, confirm. And what this is going to do is push him up to a plus 30. So he's already moving towards 30, and this is going to give you 30 more for him to like you, which is going to make it more likely for him to accept you into this coalition. So if you're going to push for Yuan Shao, you hit this. Next turn, you go to Liu Bei and say, hey, let's join this coalition. and you work together and you fight back, because Kongrong is fighting Yuan Tan right now. He will have an event where he asks Liu Bei to join that fight against Yuan Tan. Whether Liu Bei does or not doesn't really matter, but if you're part of that coalition, it is certainly going to help things along on that front. Now, Zhang Yang here absolutely hates you. And he doesn't really have any friends whatsoever. None at all. So, irrespective of whether you're going to go for Yuan Shao or not, what I would do is straight after this, next turn, head your armies up there and smash him to bits. Take his farmland, take his city, take Hernay, that's this stretch here. You take Hernay there. When you're going for Yuan Shao, you will always have a foothold that you can build up from. You put in the, where is it? The garrisons here as well. So, I mean, look at that garrison. And compared to a regular farmland garrison, you've got some decent infantry in there. You've got some cavalry. You also have the replenishment. So you've got a base of operations that you can build from to smack Yuan Shao should you need to. If not, you've just got a good food production center. What you want to do as well is, because this guy's going to hang around, is hire him. You 100% want to hire him because he is a battlefield strategist. So bringing him into the forces will allow you to get, I think it's fire arrows straight away with him. Let's just double check. Yeah, he has fire arrows straight away, and you can move over to get the bonus to piercing damage. And then one more level up, he'll get flaming shot. He's really, really useful. And you're going to want to deploy him because over here, Zhang Ba is a bandit. He's at war with Liu Bei. And Zheng Jiang is here as a bandit. So you're going to get attacked by bandits at some stage too, because Liu Bei isn't going to be able to clear them. Why is Liu Bei not going to be able to clear them? Because Liu Bei is about turn 8 is going to have Lu Bu rebel against him and take most of his territory. Okay? I have never seen Liu Bei beat Lu Bu in the field on this game. I've always seen him lose all of his territory to him eventually. Which is a shame. So you want to be prepared. And again, why I'm saying don't go for Yuan Shao. By all means, take out Zhang Yang. But you want to be prepared so that you can take an army, put, say, Chong Yu into this army, maybe build up another army with Mao Jie, Xu Chu, Xiahou Yuan, down here to take out He Yi, Yuan Shu, and send these two armies over here to finish off Zhang Ba, finish off Zheng Jiang, because she's pretty straightforward, and then take all of Liu Bei's former territory, which becomes Lu Bu's around turn 8. So yeah, really quite straightforward from me from this point onwards. I know we're very early on in the game here, but you've now settled everything down and you have the choices of where you want to go. You have the food and you will have the income. First thing I would do, straight next turn, head over here, take out Hernay City, move the army over to take out the farmland. Pretty simple. Next thing I would do, swing back, take out Zhang Ba, take out Zheng Jiang. Okay? Then consolidate. Build up your economy, build up your forces, wait for Lu Bu to declare war on Liu Bei. Then, when your forces are ready, and you've got at least 2 generals in one force down here, just to defend against Yuan Shu if he gets excited, you can then go and smash Lu Bu one more time. Remember, Lu Bu does have some very good generals. Gao Shun, Chen Gong, and Zhang Liao. Chen Gong probably won't join you. He has a grudge against you, so just execute him if he comes along. Gao Shun, if you can hire him. Historically, Cao Cao executes him, but if you can hire him, he's an incredible vanguard. And Zhang Liao, of course, if you have the choice, hire him. He's awesome. Okay? Around turn, 15, I think Yuan Shu will take out Liu Chong. Okay, so you're going to lose that trade agreement. You're going to have to find another trade agreement for him. So look out for Liu Chong and Luo Jun, his chancellor, in your recruitment pool. If you can recruit them, recruit them. It is possible that Yuan Shu will kill them, but yeah, it doesn't always happen. Yuan Shu will also declare himself emperor. Okay, and then you're going to get a mission to defeat 2 of his armies, I think. By that stage, you should have already pretty much wiped out Lu Bu over here. So you can swing your armies back and just go for Yuan Shu. Go all in for taking out Yuan Shu. If he has beaten He Yi, then you'll be able to take this territory at that stage. If he hasn't beaten He Yi, when you've wiped out Yuan Shu, take He Yi. Yuan Shu doesn't really have a huge amount of farmland here, but he does have some income from this territory and some food from this territory. He Yi has a lot of industrial income, so you're going to actually, by this stage, you can have a lot of farmland coming in from here. You're going to have a lot of industry and trade coming in from here, and you can get more farm and industry from here. Your economy is going to be absolutely incredible. Also, bear this in mind, if you are at war with Yuan Shu and Liu Bei is still around, he tends to have one province knocking about, bring him into the fight. He's more than happy to declare war on Yuan Shu, because he is, like, his thing is to restore the Han. If Yuan Shu is declaring himself emperor, he has his own mission to wipe out Yuan Shu, so he will definitely join you, okay? It's not going to take you long to wipe out Yuan Shu. His armies are absolutely woeful. Though, he does have two vassals, Sun Ce and Wu Jing. Wu Jing is crap. Sun Ce is not. Sun Ce, hopefully, by that stage, will be independent. If he is not, you may end up being at war with him. But most of his armies are down here, and he's dealing with other things down here, so he should not come back and be an issue to you, really. If you're building this up, because after you've sort of won over Liu Bei and Kongrong, you don't really want to touch this. If you're building this up, what you want to do is wait for it to get to this 75 mark here, and use it to trigger a proxy war. And what you want to do is keep triggering proxy wars against Yuan Shao with people who can fight him. So people like Zhang Yan, the bandit here, if he ever pieces out with him because he starts off at war, just bring him back into the fight. Li Xian, who takes over here, is a potential option. Yang Feng is a potential option. Lu Biao is a potential option. Lu Biao also is quite good because he's on your border. If you guys are at war with the same people, it's going to keep you guys a little bit more friendly, okay? So that's going to keep him busy. Now, Kongrong, he eventually will get wiped out by Yuan Tan and will end up joining Yuan Tan's faction. If that happens, if you look on the espionage faction, it's about turn 25, I think, 23, 24, 25. You look in the espionage faction section here. We don't actually have an example, but you will see a little eye with money on it, okay? You click on that and you will find all the way down at the bottom here, turncoats. Like I said, there aren't any examples right now, but he will become a turncoat in Yuan Tan's faction. Pay the money, bring him over, and use him to work against Yuan Tan. And that'll help you hugely in the future. Once Yuan Tan has taken over Kongrong's territory, that gives you an excuse to just finish off taking this whole area, because you'll be at war with Yuan Shao and Yuan Tan. By that stage, because you would have secured all of this southern area here, He Yi, Yuan Shu, all of Liu Bei's former territories in this area. So just finish it off, take the rest of Shandong, you've got all the trade in the world, head north, take all this farmland, all this horsey pastures up in the north. Gongsun Du is quite useful, Gongsun Zan is quite useful if they're still around at war with Yuan Shao. Don't trust Gongsun Du, you're going to have to fight him eventually. He will always have a turncoat with Gongsun Kang in his faction, always. I've never not seen it happen. He's also the faction heir. So if you see that option, bring him in as a turncoat, so that whenever it starts to get a little bit too spicy with Gongsun Du, you can just really quickly, really simply just assassinate the faction leader, or cause a military revolt, do whatever you want, just so you can make sure that you can beat Gongsun Du and claim this territory up to the north. That should sort of happen around, I say, about turn 40. You should have beaten Yuan Shao and taken all of this territory here, and you will have northwest China. Pretty much all of northwest China here. The Black Mountain Bandits, if you can't diplomatically bring them in as a vassal, beat them up, because they're not someone you can particularly trust. Guanling is held by like Wu Jing and Zerong. Beat them up, take the land, don't worry about upsetting people. They're not really friends with anyone. Wu Jing's friends with Sun Ce, but if Sun Ce is independent from Yuan Shu and Wu Jing isn't, he's not going to care. Li Jie is going to get replaced by Li Xian. And Yang Feng is going to take the Emperor here, sort of turn, I don't know, turn 6-ish, turn 5, turn 6. I was waiting to see if there would be an event where Cao Cao is invited to take the Emperor, because that's kind of what happened. There was like this invitation sent out to go and rescue the Emperor, and Cao Cao was the one who took up that offer and got Xu Huang in the process. I have mucked about with that, and mucked about with that, and I have never seen that pop up, and I've never had Xu Huang become part of my faction with this patch at all. So if you see Yang Feng take the Emperor here, and you want the Emperor, don't hold back. Go to town. Having the Emperor does have all of the problems that having the Han as a vassal did in all other variants of the game, in which case you end up at war with lots and lots and lots of people. But it's actually quite fun, because they've now got a whole load of really interesting stuff that pops up, a lot of events. So you constantly get this event ask you, like every 3 years or so, saying, do you want to replace the Emperor with yourself? Do you want to execute the Emperor? Do you want to force the Emperor to abdicate? Or do you want to continue as Prime Minister? Each with their own different benefits and negatives, which is, you can play that out quite nicely. For example, if you stay as Prime Minister, people will dislike you, but you get to use the Emperor's name to do other things. Whilst if you replace him, then you might have problems with your own faction, because not everyone, Shin Yu especially, is in favour of that. So yeah, it's quite fun. You also get the Jade Girdle event, where the Han Emperor is conspiring with Liu Bei and Ma Teng to come out from under you. Also, if you are not powerful enough, the Emperor may escape and end up with the next most powerful faction. So it's quite, it really is quite interesting. Having the Emperor is different than it was in the base game, very different. So I quite like taking the Emperor, but I don't think you should rush over here to take him, because you get no benefits from doing so. You don't get Xu Huang, okay, which is the big thing. The Emperor, sod him. Xu Huang's an absolute monster. If you can get Xu Huang, you want Xu Huang. But yeah, he's not there. So don't worry too much about rushing to get him. What you don't want is someone else to get him other than Yang Feng, really. That's the only thing. But, ladies and gentlemen, it's been quite a simple one, only a few turns. We're turn 4 in, we've destroyed Lu Bu, and we've pretty much set ourselves up for the future. I hope you have found this useful. If you have, please feel free to leave a like and subscribe down below. Comments, feedback, anything else are really, really appreciated. I love hearing from you. And yes, I look forward to seeing you next time for more Total War. Thank you very much for joining me. Bye-bye.